Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys a review of Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism by Napalm Death. So we've listened to this album for an entire week straight, and I have to say that compared to my first impressions, this album has improved a lot. I will say that, because last week we listened to it for the first time and everything felt like it was one thing. The vocals were just the same thing over and over. It felt pretty repetitive and a little bit boring to me. But after listening to it more, I've started to appreciate a lot more of the album and appreciate a lot more things this band does on this album. So I'm going to talk about some of the tracks that I ended up really liking a lot more, just to kind of show that. One of them is Amoral, and I think I mentioned that I liked it last week and I still like it now. I like that it's totally different. It has a great groove to it. Every time the song comes on, I'm thinking, yeah, this is a nice song. Like, I just get right into it from the start. It's a really cool song. I also liked Fuck the Factoid, which is the first track. It felt like, a bunch of these tracks do sound similar in the regards that it's a lot of kind of thrashy, extreme metal, kind of style. But that one I like because I really like the sounds in the chorus. I don't know if it's a guitar sound or if it's some kind of synthesizer in the background, but I really like that sound happening, and it reminds me a lot of something a non-Nothrock would do. And I like what a non-Nothrock does, so I'm like, hey, I like that. Like, it appealed to me in that sense. Cool. I also liked Contagion as well. That was another good one. That one has a cool groove and then gets thrashy near the end. It's kind of a good blend. I feel like a lot of the songs just kind of felt like they spoke to me a little bit better than others. In regards to, some of them are similar, like thrashy this, extreme metal that, but some of them just kind of worked better. I don't know, I felt like it was kind of back and forth on that. Like a song like Zero Gravitas Chamber. I listened to that song and nothing really speaks to me, even though it's kind of similar to other songs that I did like. Yeah. But like a song like that one, like I'd listen to it and be like, well, it's not bad, but I can't really comment on it.
Yeah, they're almost interchangeable in a way.
To a degree.
Like, there's a handful of songs that are kind of just, they fill the same void. There's nothing about them individually that sets them apart from each other. They all kind of do the same things and have the same satisfaction level to me as a listener, or to us as a listener, because I feel the same way you do.
Yeah, but some do it better than others.
Some do it better than others. I'm just saying there's a handful of songs that are in this pocket, and then there's a few songs that do stand out on their own, in their own ways. Contagion, I think, is one of them also for me. I feel like this one has a really, a lot of the hardcore punk elements that kind of bring it back to the roots without really going back to the roots. It just has those sprinkled elements in there, which I think is pretty cool. But some other songs that really jumped out at me throughout the week were songs like Backlash Just Because, The Curse of Being in Thrall. Amoral was another song that also was a highlight for me throughout the week. But the song that I had the most interesting time with was track number 8, Fluxing of the Muscle. So Fluxing of the Muscle, we heard it in the first impressions, and I didn't write many comments about it. I thought the riffs were cool, some good energy, whatever. So I listened to the song through the week and I started laughing one day because of how much this guy's just screaming the word muscle. And he repeatedly screams it, like at one point he screams it like I think 8 or 9 times in a row, just screaming the word muscle. And I thought it was so goofy, so silly, that I thought it was just a joke. And it was a bad thing too. I thought it was like just so totally stupid. And then it just started growing on me because I thought it was funny. Like, I know this is not the best review way to review something, but I thought it was funny that this guy's screaming at the top of his lungs, muscle, 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 muscle. And I started to like it because of that. It was giving me joy. It was appeasing me. So that actually became one of my go-to songs. It stopped being annoying to me and it started being actually, entertaining to me. It's not like I laughed at it every time listening to it, but there was one point where I just thought it was just ridiculously funny. And I don't know, there's something, it's a weird song, man. Like the choice to just write lyrics like that and do that, because he does it in different ways. Like the first time he does it, like he yells it like 4 times, then the second time the chorus hits, he does it like 5 or 6 times, and then the last time he does it 8 or 9 times, and he's just really ramping up.
Lots of muscle.
Lots of muscle. And the name of the song, Flexing of the Muscle, is a weird name as well. It's just, I don't know, it was just odd to me. But that song, I was gravitating towards it. There was something about it that kept bringing me back. And I think that's a good thing with music. Usually songs, if they're bad, they'll repulse you. They'll say, oh, I'm skipping this now because it's annoying me. That annoyed me, but I wanted more, and it actually started growing on me. So it may be my favorite song in the album because of that. I don't know. It's very weird, very hard to really convey my feelings towards it. All I'm saying is it grew on me, and I think that's actually a pretty damn good song.
Yeah, that one, I liked the first chunk of it. The first section I did like, and then it kind of turned into a completely different song partway through, and it wasn't as good in my opinion. It just kind of felt like the same as everything else, but the first section was good. I noticed the muscle thing, but I didn't find it as funny. I'm just like, okay, whatever, you just...
It just caught me one day, man. I don't know.
What do you think of the last track, A Belly Full of Salted Spleen? Because that one's an interesting one, and I think it's kind of neat just because of how different it is, and I think it's a decent album closer.
Decent album closer, neat because it's different. I'll give you those things. I didn't particularly like this song. The thing I liked about it the most is that it has a big drum presence. That's pretty much the only positive attribute that I could give this track, in my opinion, other than it being a tad unique on the album. But the drum presence is very big. The drum presence on a few songs is big, which is something I mentioned in the first impressions, and that's something that stuck with me throughout the week, and I think that's a highlight of the album for me as well. But that song, I don't know, I didn't find myself really enjoying it a lot. It was just there, but I'm not gonna say that that's particularly bad for this song specifically, because there's a handful of songs I kind of felt this way about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of this album to me was just like, oh yeah, it's not bad, but it doesn't feel exceptional. It doesn't feel like something that's really crazy. Like the title track, I liked the beginning of that where he's just screaming.
That's really cool.
And it reminded me of 515 by Slipknot.
Sounds like he's just in an empty room.
It's just like, similar kind of thing where Sid was screaming whatever in the studio. It's like, I got that vibe and I really liked that.
Yeah.
But the song itself, I'm like, yeah, this is fine, but it just doesn't really stand out. And I feel like that's kind of the main issue with this album. It's like, it gives you something and it gives you it well, but, I don't feel like anything really jumps out or really is grasping like, yeah, this part is sick, this part's sick. It's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it didn't do much for me. There was a few songs that just really didn't do much. Here's one thing though. When we say this song didn't do much for me, blah, 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 it's because these songs aren't like grabbing us. They're not stretching out and like impressing us in some way. But when you listen to this album, when I was listening to this album, I speak for myself, nobody else, I found that it was great for just background music.
Yeah.
When it was on, I had no problems with it. It was just playing. You can listen to it whenever, and I was having no problems with it whatsoever. There was nothing on here that was bad to the point where I was like, oh god, this again, gotta skip this.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. The only problem I'll have, as far as that's concerned, is the fact that there's 3 bonus tracks.
I think so, yeah.
3 or 4?
3.
3 bonus tracks, and they're mixed in with the songs. Like, well, the last track, A Belly Full of Salt and Spleen, comes after one of the bonus tracks.
Yeah, which is
so
really
you kind of have to. We don't include bonus tracks in our review, so this is why it's annoying for us. We listen to the first 11 songs, then you have to skip a song, listen to one song, and then skip 2 more songs to start the album again.
I mean, for me, that wasn't an issue because I just made a playlist with the actual tracks of the album, so like that just was not a problem for me.
Yeah, which is,
like,
yeah.
I do agree with you that it is great for background music. I feel like I can just kind of put it on and it's fine.
Yeah.
But, I want an album that I can really, really enjoy. It's like I can enjoy it, like, yeah, it's a pretty good album, and it's well made, it's got all this stuff. It's just nothing about it is really like stands out as something super great,
Okay, let's rate it.
All right, so like I said, this album is not bad, but it's not like amazing. It's certainly better than what I thought it was, but it's not super special. So I'm gonna give it a 6, because it's good. I think it's effective as background music. Nothing's really skippable, which I think is pretty commendable for an album to have no tracks that are worth skipping. Mm-hmm. It's just nothing was really super amazing.
Yeah, you know what, I share a lot of the same feelings and sentiments, and I basically said everything I feel about this album. I'm just gonna give it a 6 without elaborating too much. I am gonna say though that I'm very curious to know if, you know, lifelong fans or bigger fans of Napalm Death like this album or not. Because we mentioned in our first impressions, we're not the biggest Napalm Death fans. This is kind of our first big serious venture into this band, despite dabbling them a little bit over the years. So I would consider us both kind of fresh as far as Napalm Death listeners go, but I'm definitely curious to know what anybody, if you're watching and you're like a fan of their discography, how do you feel about this album? Does it fit in with the discography? Does it live up to your standards? Is it better or worse than, you know, just, I'm curious. Let us know.
Yeah, for sure, man. And a double 6 for this album. Pretty good album. Check it out, guys, if you haven't already. It's been out for a week. And that's all we got for you today. So remember to like the video if you like it. Comment. Tell us in the comments below. What did you think of this album? If you are a fan of this band, tell us where should we check this band out next? Is there a better album, or is this perhaps their best work? We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Anyway, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Paul Self.
And we'll see you guys later.